Very warm good evening to one another present here. We will start the webinar in next 5 minutes. I request you all to please turn off your mic while during the webinar to avoid any kind of chaos or confusion.
Start in a few minutes. I have shared a link in your chat box. So kindly click on a Microsoft Team and join again to a Microsoft Team, please.
Once again, a very good evening to all present here for the webinar, which is on the topic EV charging infrastructure, charging stations for electric vehicles. On behalf of whole ISI India team, I, Anmol Bindra, would like to welcome each one of you for attending this webinar. Now, moving forward, as we all know already that electric vehicle market, that is EV market, is rising very rapidly nowadays. The growth of the market is either due to high demand or due to the need of e-mobility resulting in large production of electric vehicles within low range of network, which creates the need of reliable charging infrastructure. The current Indian industries that provide normal charging stations which are capable of charging the vehicle for a long time or overnight. Thus, these create a requirement of fast chargers. This again results in additional charging infrastructure requirements. So today, basically in this webinar, we'll be going to learn about how EV market, that is electric vehicle market, is growing. The range factor of electric vehicles, working on charging stations, technical details, different levels of charging, solar power charging station, etc. These are the small topics that we are going to have a discussion about in this webinar. And to tell us about all these important things of EV charging, I would like to welcome today's speaker of the webinar, Ms. Shubhi Agarwal. Ms. Shubhi Agarwal is pursuing PhD in the field of electric vehicle charging station from National Institute of Technology, Delhi. Prior to this, she has done with Masters in Power Systems. She has a teaching experience of a year at Lovely Professional University. With a broad knowledge of power system for electrical engineering, designing tools like MATLAB, SCADA, and PLC, and knowledge of impact and analysis of EV charging infrastructure, she will be taking us through the EV charging infrastructure today from this webinar. With this, I would like to invite Ms. Shubhi to take further this session. Over to you. Hello. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Anmol, for giving such a nice introduction about me. I hope I am audible to everyone. Am I audible? Please respond. Yes, ma'am, you're audible. Yeah, okay, fine. Yes. Yes, once again, thank you so much, Anmol. And yes, this one student is asking, is there a presentation presented? Yes, of course, there will be a presentation presented. Just in a few minutes, we'll start with the presentation as well. Yeah, it will be presented shortly. Yes, yeah, but before than that, yes, I hope I'm. Yes. So, the topic for today class is the EV charging infrastructure. But I'm not wasting any of the time. I'm directly coming to the topic since already we are late with the presentation. So, before starting directly on the topic, I always ask some basic questions before starting with the topic. So, why EVs? क्यों चाहिए? Anyone from the audience? See, what I believe is education and knowledge should be a two-way communication. Until unless I get the reply or the response in the chat box or from the audio, I don't think so it would be a fruitful conversation. So, I would love from the audience, why EVs? Why? Why electric vehicles? First of all. No one? Since it's a seminar on EV charging infrastructure, तो एक बेसिक सा क्वेश्चन दिमाग में आना चाहिए कि हमें EVs क्यों चाहिए मार्केट में? We are already having the petrol vehicles, we are already having the diesel vehicles. क्यों चाहिए EV? Nil pollution, okay. Next, please. To prevent pollution, okay. Is my voice still breaking, students? Sorry, everyone?
That's audible.
It's audible? Okay, fine. Yeah. So, just two of the participants have replied, ma'am, to prevent pollution. Okay, just to prevent pollution. कुछ name and terms में नहीं. कि पेट्रोल के प्राइस बहुत हो गए हैं या डीजल के प्राइस बहुत ज़्यादा हो गए हैं, वी नीड टू शिफ्ट टू ईवीज, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है। बस एक पॉल्यूशन की वजह से आप लोग ईवीज पे स्विच करना चाहेंगे? नो वन? Fine. See, both of you are definitely correct. First of all, EVs, electric vehicles, are said to be the no pollution vehicles. They do not emit any gases. They do not produce any pollution. So one of the basic prime reason for the adoption of EVs is that they do not produce pollution. सेकेंड, अगर हम एक लेमैन टर्म्स की बात में बात करें या एक कॉमन मैन टर्म की बात करें, वी जैसे एक सिंपल सी नॉर्मल पर्सन से पूछे भाई ईवी क्यों चाहिए, वो सीधा सीधा क्या कहता है, अरे पेट्रोल के प्राइस इतने बढ़ रहे हैं यार, डीजल के प्राइसेस इतने बढ़ रहे हैं, अगर हम उसको ईवी से कंपेयर करें, ईवी सस्ती है, ठीक है, इनिशियल प्राइस बाइंग का आपका थोड़ा अभी कॉस्ट ज़्यादा है, बट इफ़ यू सी फॉर द फ्यूचर आफ्टर इफेक्ट्स, अगर आपको 1 लीटर में आपकी पेट्रोल गाड़ी ऑन एन एवरेज 10-15 किलोमीटर का देती है, तो वही एक ईवी गाड़ी आपको 20 से 25 किलोमीटर तक दे सकती है। चार्जिंग के ऊपर वो डिपेंड करेगा, आपकी बैटरी के ऊपर डिपेंड करेगा, आपकी ईवी मॉडल के ऊपर डिपेंड, नो डाउट देयर आर मेनी फैक्टर्स दैट इज गोइंग टू डिपेंड ऑन, बट ऑन एन एवरेज अगर हम मोटा मोटा एक हिसाब देखा जाए तो ईवीज आपकी इन शॉर्ट आपके लिए फ्रूटफुल साबित हुएगी इन दी कमिंग टाइम। Maybe initially you have invested a lot in buying the EV, but the charging rate, as compared to the petrol prices, are very less. एकदम 1/5 के करीब वो बैठ जाता है। So, without wasting much of the time, I share the PPT. I hope my screen is visible. I can't see into the chat box. Please, someone from the back end team. Yeah, because if I show my PPT, it won't be possible to see the chat box. Please have a look in the chat box if anybody asks the questions. Okay? Right? So, this is the topic for today, the charging infrastructure for electric vehicle. But before than that, if we talk about the at present Indian government, सब कुछ गडकरी साहब सब लोग हमें यही कह रहे हैं कि हमें ईवी की तरफ जाना चाहिए, हमें ईवी की तरफ जाना चाहिए। तो इंडिया की क्या प्लानिंग है ईवी को लेकर? क्या जैसे अब इंडिया गवर्नमेंट का कहना है कि बाय 2030 दे आर प्लानिंग टू सेल ओनली ईवीज बाय 2030। क्या इंडियन आई वुड से जो हमारा इंडिया है, इज इट रियली प्रिपेयर्ड फॉर इट? Are we really prepared? Yes. Are you ready to accept EVs in your life? As the Indian government is saying that we are going to push people, we are going to give you a lot of the policies, we are going to give a lot of the compensations and everything, that we are going to have a lot of the EVs by 2030. So, is 100% electric vehicle mobility by 2030, is it possible? Are we really prepared for it? I think so somebody is switched on their mic or something. So, see everyone, no doubt, EVs are the future of the transportation sector. No doubt by in the coming next to 5 to 10 years, I would say EVs will be a part in our day-to-day life as the petrol and the diesel vehicles are there in our day-to-day life. We don't have too much of a thing right now. जैसे भी हम लोग thinking right up now. अच्छा, how will we be charging our vehicle? How will we be replacing our batteries? क्योंकि at present we don't think of anything like that. If we want to go on a long journey, we don't have to think from where we'll get a petrol, from where we'll get a diesel or something. No, we don't think about it. So might be possible in the coming time, in the coming era, we will be thinking the same about the EVs. One of the reason that two of the main reasons the EV acceptance is not there still in India is first of is the range anxiety, and second is the unavailability of the charging stations, the lack of the infrastructure. See, the government of India has set a target to electrify 70% of the electric commercial vehicles, 30% of the private cars, and 40% of the buses, and majority comes in the two-wheeler section, near about 80% by 2030. So this estimate they have made for the 2030. But for this estimate, what is the main thing that we require is the charging stations. So proceeding for the next slide, the introduction. As already we have explained that the electric charging station is a very important part in the EV field. Why so? Because whether it would be EVs, whether it would be hybrids, whether it would be a plug-in hybrids, कोई सा भी आपका any type of vehicle is there, definitely we are going to require the EV charging stations. In the instance in India, if we talk about, see the electric mobility or the e-mobility sector is mainly on the adoption side and from the public and from the demand side, both. Say for there should be a sufficient demand from the public. That means there is a sufficient acceptance from the public, isn't it? Until and unless we accepted something, we are not going to demand it, isn't it? So first of all, we have to understand that EVs, no doubt, at present, it's still a big thing to accept, but in the coming future, we are going to accept it. Now, I just want to show you a very small, I have collected this data from some of the research papers and everything, that near about how many charging stations are installed in different parts of our country. As you can see, there are two things written at the top: EV station established as per Phase 1 scheme and the EV station earmarked as per Phase 2 scheme. So a very important term is there, Phase 1 and Phase 2. Anyone from the audience know what is Phase 1 and Phase 2, since we are studying the EV? Anyone from the audience? What is Phase 1 and Phase 2? No one still? Okay, fine. No issue. See, what is FAME? FAME is the faster adoption and manufacturing of electric vehicles in India. These are the two schemes that have been initiated by the government of India for the acceptance of the EVs, for the establishment of the EVs in our life, in our culture, as well as the establishment of the EV charging infrastructures, the establishment of the batteries, everything. It comes under the FAME 1 under FAME 2 scheme, depending on this. At present, how many charging stations are already installed in different parts of the country? It is being shown in this graph. I hope it's clearly visible. Now, if we talk about the why the EVs are still not accepted as per the petrol and the diesel vehicles. अभी आप लोगों ने मुझे बस इतना ही बताई होंगी, told me that why we are accepting EVs. क्योंकि मैम उसमें pollution नहीं है, and it doesn't create pollution. But is why we are not accepting EVs now? Q, why still we want to go for the petrol vehicles? Why we still want to go for the diesel vehicles? Yeah. So one of the reasons for this is the range anxiety. What is the meaning of the range anxiety? Say for example, if I want to go on a long drive, if it is a petrol or a diesel car, I don't have to think about it. Okay, fine. If I get any of the petrol or the station, and I'll fill up my car and I'll continue with my ride. But still, this is not possible with the EVs. Still, the charging stations are not as that much available to us as the petrol and the diesel fuel stations. So this is one of the very, very important factors still for not accepting the EVs in a day-to-day. Government is really very hard to push the EV charging infrastructure in our ecosystem. Still, I just read the article in which the Indian government said that they are going to establish the EV charging station every 3 by 3 kilometers. We are going on a long range. Reality will change. Maybe we'll be very much comfortable with going with our EVs. So one of the reasons is the range anxiety. Now, say for example, if we are having, because different cars are having the different types of the batteries, different, they are having their different capacities. Might be possible. Let's take an example. Let's suppose we have to go from Amravati to Nagpur, which is near about 320 kilometers. Total traveling distance is minimum 320 kilometers. Say for example, if we are having Mahindra E2, oh, it's just having a range of 80 kilometers. It won't be able to cover even the half of the distance. Or let us suppose we have the Tesla Model S. No issue. Still, it's only going to cover 30 kilometers. We won't be able to make it back. So this is the example of range anxiety. What I'll do after 80 kilometers? What if I want to return on the same day? How I'm going to charge my car? How I'm going to come back to my native place? So this is the reason. This is one of the reasons, because still we don't know how many charging stations are there during this way. No doubt the government has made many of the apps. There are many of the startups that are working on these apps, in which you can locate where are the charging stations, where you can nearby charging stations, the on moving, I would say the health service availability, everything is there. But still, every time there will be a clock clicking back of your mind. Okay, fine, my battery is going to get exhausted. What I'm going to do? So this is the example of range anxiety. Now, before start to know about what is the working of charging stations, first of all, I would say briefly that if we talk about the EVs, the very important part of an EV is the battery. The battery is the driving source. Other than if we talk about the plug-in hybrid or the hybrid, if we are just talking about the pure EV, the battery is the main driving source. बैटरी के अलावा तो कोई और मीडियम है ही नहीं गाड़ी को चलाने के लिए. So how, what then? So now, since battery is a DC source of energy, and whatever electricity that we are getting from the grid to charge is an AC. So to convert that from AC to DC, we are going to have a converter in between them. Now, still we are going into that much of the deep. I just want to shorten to that. Say for example, I would like to give you a brief about the levels of charging. I hope there is there. Okay, fine. First we'll see for this. Please see in the diagram the level of charging. There is level 1, level 2 and DC fast charging. What is level 1? It is just 120 volt. Level 2 works for 208 to 240 volts, and the DC fast charging works for the 208 to 480 volts. That means, let us suppose I am having an EV. Right? I am driving it from my workplace to my office place. That is supposed to be 40 kilometers max to max. Okay, fine. Every day I am traveling from my native home, my place to my office, 40 kilometers. I reached my office. There is a charging station available over there, and I plugged in my car over there for charging. Since it is a level 2 level of charging, it is a slow type of charging. Slow type of charging will take near about 5 to 6 hours to charge your battery. But let us I'm on a trip or something. My battery is near about 30%. Fine, I got a charging station, and there is a DC fast charger available over there. So what is the benefit of the DC fast charger? You just plug in your car and you just wait for 20 to 30 minutes and your battery will get charged. So this is the benefit of the DC fast charging stations. Understood? Now let's back come to the working of the charging stations. Now working of the charging stations, we are going to categorize this as the fast chargers and the type 2 level of chargers or the slow type of chargers. Say for example, if you are going on right, the same example that we get taken, you are not going to wait 5 to 6 hours to charge your battery. You don't have that much of the time, but you can spare near about 20 to 25 minutes to charge your battery. So when we talk about the charging stations, we need to make up the thing whether we are going to charge by the fast chargers or whether we are going to make a charge by a slow charger, depending on first of all the availability, second on our time. If I know I'm going to stay at that place, say for example in my office, I'm going to stay about 5 to 6 hours, fine, I can go with the slow charger. Why do I need fast charging? But if I'm working, but I want to go somewhere reach quickly, fine, I'll go for the fast. The slow charging, we talk about slow charges that directly works. As if you can see 208 to 240 volt. This is the minimum voltage that we are getting at our home, single phase supply. But if we talk about the DC fast charging, 480 volts. It is not a single phase supply. Now, working of the charging stations. As I have already told you, battery is a DC source of energy. Whatever energy that we are getting from the grid is the AC. So to convert this AC to DC, definitely I am going to require a converter between them. That converter is known as the rectifier. A rectifier is always there to convert to AC to DC by the ES. अब इसमें भी हम लोग see this session is only an introduction about the different parts in the EV charging stations. Today we are not going into the details. I'm just going to give you a glimpse that what are the subparts that we are going to study in the coming time. What we can study further. This today's class we are just going to give, okay, there is going to be something like fast chargers, there is something going to be like slow chargers. There's something going to be like onboard chargers or onboard rectifier. There's something going to be like off-board rectifiers. We don't need those rectifiers. So today we are just for coming to a proper schedule with a proper timetable with a proper content list, we are going to study in deep about them. I hope you guys are able to understand what I am trying to convey. I really want to say, is there anything going in the chat box? Sorry for the interruption. Yes, voice is not clear. I hope that is clear now. Still? Okay. Now, there is a point written over there. Superchargers deliver high voltage, high current DC electricity directly to the EV's battery by passing the on-board rectifier. Now see, a very new term for you is the on-board rectifier. What is the meaning of the on-board rectifier? Since again, DC, the battery is a DC form of energy, what we are getting to charge is the AC. So there is a conversion device in the EVs itself that convert that AC to the DC. I don't require a onboard charge. I'm already getting a DC to charge my battery. I don't require a rectifier over there. I don't require that converting device over there. And is anybody saying something? Okay. I don't require a converter over there. Hello. So, see, what they have written, superchargers deliver high voltage, high current DC electricity directly to the EV's battery by passing the onboard rectifier. This allows the supercharger to push electricity into the battery as fast as the battery can take it, typically 10 times faster than the home charging. Home charging means your slow charging. That is why only if we talk about the public charging stations, we are not installing the slow type chargers because slow type chargers near about require 5 to 6 hours to charge your battery. Nobody is that much available until and unless we are in a parking cars are parked in a parking lot in a multiplex or in your office or somewhere else. Until and unless. Why would you go for the slow chargers? Definitely we need the fast chargers, and especially if we talk about the public charging stations on the highways, we are installing the superchargers or the DC chargers. Understood? So this is the level of charging. Now, let us suppose we want to install a DC charging station, right? Since it is a DC charging station, so it definitely is going to be a public charging station. So what they have taken, the whole setup takes a 12 kV, 750 kVA feed from the utility.
It is in near about I just once went over there and just saw that they have placed so many solar panels over there. Means if you just go through that part, you should be able to see how many solar panels are there. Incredible, beautiful view, I would say, if we talk about the renewable source of energy. So now let's come back to the topic. Now the solar power charging station. The charging stations it should be the charging stations can also be powered by solar energy. Number of solar panels can be placed on the roof of charging station. This solar panel will deliver to charging point. How it is directly delivered to the charging point? Since first of all, my public charging station is a DC charger, that will be fast charging station. Second, my solar output is also in the form of DC. So what I am doing, I am connecting the solar energy into the DC same way, and I am directly giving to the charging point. In the mean time, say for example, I am using the solar power to charge my batteries. I am not charging from the government. I am not taking the electricity from the government. Because I also, if I am the, say for example, the owner of the charging station, I also have payback to the government. If I am using that much of the electricity, I also have to pay back the government. So to reduce my debt, I am using the charger. I am using the solar power. What is wrong in that? So use of solar will reduce load on the power grid definitely, and will also save considerable amount of fossil fuel used in producing electricity. Again, you have saved some of the fossil fuel. Again, you have help in the reduce the pollution one way or the other. So this is the solar power charging station. In the coming time, this is just I would say we are just shown an intro, or I would say a glimpse in charging station, and how you can modify these charging stations as well. Understood? Now, see, I think so. What could be the advantages? With chargers, if you are buying the EVs, definitely the government have to install the EV charging stations. Right now, I only said they have made a plan that by 3 by 3 kilometer on national highways, there will be a charging station. You don't have to worry about the range anxiety. And if they are going to be the solar power charging station, please don't get confused. Please don't get confused that they are only being powered from the solar. No. They might be having both of the connections, one from the grid supply and one from the solar as well. Right? Please don't get confused with that. No. Why, if there are a lot of increase in number of charging stations will boost the setting of EVs, as there will be reduced range anxiety. Correct. अगर रेंज एंजाइटी वाला फैक्टर ही नहीं होगा, simply as if we are buying the petrol and the diesel cars, in the coming future time will be very much comfortable with the EV cars. Definitely. And if we are going to continue with these classes, since we are going to continue with these classes, I'll let you know how much I would say the energy capacity of an EV is there, or the lithium-ion cells. We are using the lithium-ion batteries. How much is the energy capacity of a lithium as compared to how much the capacity of petrol or diesel? I'll let you know how the lithium-ion is much more energy capacity it is having as compared to the petrol or the diesel. I'll let you know. Fine. So definitely, if the charging stations has increased, the range anxiety factor will reduce. No doubt, the pollution will get reduced. So it will be great for the environment. And if the EVs are manufactured on a large scale, definitely it's going to give a lot of the employment, direct or the indirect employment. Why direct employment? Say, for example, you're in an EV industry. Fine, definitely will be there. Say, for example, you are working. If any person is working on the EV charging station, you'll get an employment. Anyhow, you'll get the employment. And as India like charging stations is good opportunity to young business aspirants to install charging stations in their locality. Why so? Because the Indian government is giving a lot of the subsidies, it is giving a lot of you help regarding the availability of your electricity, place, the area and everything. It is giving a lot of the subsidies on everything. So if anybody of you is thinking about to install a charging stations near about your locality, please go to the reference to your I would say the state website page. Please go there, have a good knowledge about it because the Indian government is supporting a lot at present for the acceptance of the EVs. Now, since everybody has an advantages and disadvantages, now what is the disadvantage? पहला सबसे पहला disadvantage क्या है? If we talk about the EVs, I'm not saying about the EV charging stations. What is the first disadvantage? The पैसे महंगी बहुत है. It's very costly at present. If we compare the rate near 5 years back, it's nice. अभी तो उसके मुकाबले बहुत कम है. If we talk about the range, near 5 years back, the batteries are giving an incredible range, and maybe after 5 years they'll give a super range. So, what are the disadvantages? Its initial installation cost is high due to the non-availability of equipment in India. But all investment will eventually get recovered through charging stations. See, this is the point I was saying you in the starting of the class. Maybe you think that the EV is costing you a lot, but looking at the surging prices of the petrol and diesel, and that you are going to pay to the electricity department to charge your battery, definitely you will see you are going to save a lot of your money. No doubt you see it in a short coming time, but as if you get it on. एक बार आप जैसे say for example when the solar was started initially in the India, the Indian government were giving a lot of the incentives to install the solar panels on your roofs. So if you are going to install the solar panels on your roof and you are going to use that electricity, definitely electricity bill is going to reduce. You are going to save your money. What is the thing you have already invested in? So this is the point I want to summarize over here, that the initial installation cost is high, but eventually will get recovered. It derives large power from the grid, definitely which increase load. Regions with lack of power will not be able to handle this load. Now I want to rephrase this term. It derives large power from the grid, definitely. Since if I am going to take a 12 kilowatt, because a DC fast charger is near about a 12 kilowatt weighted charger. So let us suppose I am 10 cars simultaneously are charging at that one charging station. Definitely I am going to take a lot of the power from the grid. Now that power is going to play a very important role, because if we talk about the India's present grid infrastructure, the distribution infrastructure, still we can see still we are facing in many areas still the electricity is coming in near about 5 to 6,000. So that thing is also going to play a very important role, because why so? We need electricity. Second, we need that much of the distribution system to be capable enough to deliver that much of the power. So that is the disadvantage at present in India. I'm not comparing the situation with the developed countries, say for example, US, China and everyone. No, they are ahead of us. In those countries, the EVs are established near about like 10 years before than this. They are mature with this thing. They are not thinking of how we are going to make our grid strong, how we are going to make a grid that much capable to supply the power. Now what they are thinking? They are thinking about the batteries. They are thinking about the recycling of the batteries, because they are already using those EVs from the last 10 years. Now their government is thinking, okay fine, now I am going to get a lot of the batteries, what I am going to use? How I am going to use these batteries? Is it going to be a waste? So they are thinking in those terms. So let's come back to the India. So these are the two very important things that we have to consider while installing the charging stations as well. Now, so we are coming to the conclusion of our presentation. So as India is a country with vast road network, if country wants to boost the popularity of EVs, it needs to install as many charging stations as possible. Definitely correct. But installation of charging station is much easier, but lack of knowledge makes it difficult to handle. Proper knowledge will surely improve current state of infrastructure. So in this, what we are doing, what we have studied till now, I have just gave you a glimpse of the parts of the charging station. I haven't got you into the depth of the charging station. This is just a introduction class. I didn't want to make you students get worry something about it also. But in the coming classes, with the proper writing, with the proper everything, the explanation will go each and every depth of the charging, will go in the level of the chargers, the type of chargings, the tariff charging, the swapping charging stations. Okay, fine, that's before ending with the PPT. A very nice term that came into the mind is the swapping charging stations. Now, if anybody, yes, this is the end of the PPT. I'm coming back to the Has anybody heard of swapping charging stations? Anyone? Students, please require a yes or a no in the chat box at least. Otherwise, it's just a one-way communication. It's never a good way to learn something. Until unless you ask some doubts or something. Is there anyone? And please, you are allowed to speak. I would request you to speak up something. Do anybody has the idea of the swapping charging stations? Yes, ma'am. Siddharth, please speak up, I would say. Siddharth. Yes, Sun Mobility is making. Fine, Siddharth. Okay. Siddharth, will you please come and talk to us? So there are two Siddharth. Okay, fine. Yes, Sun Mobility is making. Yes, Siddharth Ghosh. Would you please like to give some information regarding to this? What is the meaning of the swapping charging station?
Yes, ma'am. I think they are making it for the three-wheeler.
They are making for the three-wheeler. Fine, you told me. What is the meaning of swapping charging station? What is the meaning?
Yeah, actually you can swap your battery, but you have the one battery on the vehicle and another at the station. So when your battery gets depleted, you just swap it with the batteries which are there in the stations.
Fine.
So there is no as such like you need to charge it. You just swap with full battery and then you can just use it.
Okay, fine. Thank you so much, Siddharth. I really like that somebody talked to me because I always believe that information is always a two-way communication. Every time I'm not the giver and you are the taker. Sometimes it should be always a two-way communication, and that's where only the class will become more interesting, I would say. See, Siddharth, as I was saying, in those stations where we will be swapping the used battery with the charged battery. Definitely correct. Definitely correct. See, I told you the level of the charge. Level 2 may require near about 5 to 6 hours to charge the battery. In the easy fast chargers, I require 20 to 25 minutes to charge my battery. But in the swapping charging stations, at most of this part, I definitely correct. He came with a depleted battery. We replace the depleted battery with the charged battery. We pay the operator how much it is charging. I replace the charged battery into my meter and I'm free to go. Near about 3 to 4 minutes, you are free to go. So these are the swapping charging stations, and yes, Siddharth was said that Sun Mobility is making definitely correct. Even I have seen the Ola Electric three-wheelers swapping charging stations. It's there in Gurgaon. I've seen it. I went there. I conducted some of the service over there. So what is the see the e-rickshaws जो driver है चालक हैं, they are not that much educated. What they know is कि madam, what we do is we go there, we give a battery, they depleted to finished battery है, हम उनको दे देते हैं. They gave us the charged battery and there's a scanning code over each battery. So we scan that code and we pay. Near about 70 to 80 rupees, just 70 to 80 rupees. We'll take their charged batteries with us and we'll go and start with our 3 rickshaw, जो e-rickshaws चलती हैं. We'll go with that. So it is that much easy. But still there are, every time there is some constraints, since there are many EV manufacturers, there are many EV brands, there are many battery brands. So is it possible? I'm having a Mahindra, let us suppose, car. Can I replace with the Tesla Model S battery? No. It's not possible. So every time, yeah, it is a very important, a very interesting topic, these swapping charging stations, which I want to really discuss with you, but in the later coming classes, I would say with the full explanation how they are working and everything. Is somebody saying something? Hello? Anupam Tiwari. Okay, fine. No issue.
Yes, ma'am.
हाँ, आप कुछ कह रहे थे क्या?
No, ma'am.
Okay, fine.
I have one question, ma'am. I have one
Yes.
question.
Please.
But I think the swapping, maybe not, the concept cannot be for the future because different manufacturers making different batteries, right? I think.
See, that's what I was saying. That you can't replace your Mahindra EV battery car to the Tesla model, isn't it? Is it possible? No. So for this, that's why I said that the swapping charging station is such an interesting topic to listen to, hear, to understand how the different manufacturers are doing this. How? अगर EV चार्जिंग swapping है तो फिर क्या आप अपने घर पर उसको चार्ज कर सकते हो? Why you are coming specifically to the charging stations only? See, one of the constraints. And Sai, I feel you are definitely correct. Ma'am, we have been very much specific about this. Definitely, I would sorry to say that, but in the coming future, you are going to see these swapping charging stations very often. Yes, Anil, you have raised your hand. Please speak up. Hi, again, please. Somebody mute your mic. I think so my voice is clear. Yes, Anil.
Yeah, if I'm a fleet owner or maybe I'm a taxi unit owner, so I will be having number of vehicles more, right?
Yes.
So in that case, swapping is fine because there is no chance of getting bad battery exchanged. But in swap charging, there is an what we can say problem of getting exchanged the bad batteries.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So any solution for that? Means how we are going to check whether the battery is good or not?
Yes, sir. For that, still, I would say I was just studying. There is a company over there. If you are a fleet owner, so definitely you are going to think a lot about the battery condition and everything. So for that, there is a company known as the Mega. So they have, they have made the product to check. Somebody please mute your mic or speaker something. So my voice is echoing. Yes. So they have made the equipment to check the condition of your battery. तो ये आपका जो डाउट है वो बिल्कुल वैलिड है कि भाई कोई मेरे पास आके बेकार बैटरी मुझको दे जाए और मेरे से अच्छी बैटरी दे जाए. So this is the, I would say, one of the constraint or the disadvantage again with the charging swapping charging stations.
And one more thing on charging stations, is there any constraint of recycling plant should be there or not? And how they are going to store the batteries, used batteries or discharged batteries or discarded batteries?
हाँ जी. Sir, if we talk about the at present Indian conditions, अगर मैं इंडिया की कंडीशन की बात करूँ, अभी at present we are not thinking about the recycling, but still you have raised this question. I just want to make it clear that sir, जो हमारी used batteries हैं, we can use those recycled batteries. We can make those batteries as recycled batteries. Say for example, sir, जो आपके इन्वर्टर होते हैं, घर में जो इन्वर्टर होते हैं, उनमें जो बैटरीज होती हैं, हम उसमें उसको यूज़ कर सकते हैं. हम उसमें से जो लिथियम है, जो मेजर हमारे आयन हैं, उसमें से हम उनको एक्सट्रैक्ट कर सकते हैं विद जीरो आई वुड से मेकिंग ए फुल क्या कहते हैं सर प्रोटेक्शन के साथ एंड इट इज़ पॉसिबल इट इज़ हैपनिंग इन इंडिया सम ऑफ द कंपनीज इज वर्किंग ऑन दिस कि हमारे पास जो यूज्ड बैटरीज आ रही हैं मैं मुझे क्या करूँ how I can recycle and reuse those batteries. So I have given you two of the solutions. First of all, I can use those batteries either in the inverters or you say for example कि आपके पास solar charging है तो आपको batteries चाहिए होती है that is supposed to store it, to store the energy. You can use those batteries. तो ये केस सॉल्यूशन और दूसरा सर कि कंपनीज इंडिया में ऐसी हैं जो इस रिसाइकलिंग पे काम कर रही है.
I think as of now only 4% batteries are recycled, lithium-ion batteries, right?
हाँ जी, हाँ जी.
So ये कोई constraint नहीं है क्या मतलब vehicle जो है EV vehicles immediately रोड पर नहीं आ रहे हैं?
सर अब मैं मतलब सॉरी टू डिसअपॉइंट यू आई जस्ट हैव वन क्वेश्चन. मैं सर दिल्ली रेजिडेंट हूँ और मेरे पास सर डीजल गाड़ी है एंड डीजल कार्स आर ओनली अलाउड फॉर 10 years in Delhi and I'm just having 1 year more with my car. So again it's a constraint for diesel car in Delhi. बताइए.
Okay.
Constraint तो सर हर जगह है but there is I would say अगर मैं जैसे EV की बात कर रहे हैं सर मैं ये नहीं कहूँगी कि रिसाइकलिंग आपके लिए एज ए कंज्यूमर के लिए वो एक कंस्ट्रेंट में मानती हूँ क्योंकि हमें.
My question is whether there is a regulation that अगर आपने इतना बैटरी मैन्युफैक्चर किया है तो उतना रिसाइकल भी होना है, ऐसा कुछ रेगुलेशन है क्या?
सर अभी अच्छा सर सॉरी लेकिन मुझे इसका ऐसा पक्का मेरे पास कोई वो नहीं है मैं आपको फिर फैक्ट्स के साथ बता सकूँ बिकॉज इतनी बड़ी क्लास में सर मैं फॉल्स इन्फॉर्मेशन मतलब मैं नहीं चाहूँगी क्योंकि है मुझे आइडिया है बट आई डोंट वांट टू until unless I'm sure about it, but definitely in the coming class I'll look for it and thank you for asking.
Right.
I will yeah. Yes, please Anand. Please.
Ma'am, one question I have. Is there some technology where we can extract the lithium back from the battery after the life the shelf life is finished?
Yes. It is again I would say in India it is still in the researching phase. Still only let's suppose as Sir have only said right now only 4% of the batteries are recycled and definitely there is a technique but that technique is very we have to operate that operation. आप उसे घर पे नहीं कर पाओगे क्योंकि lithium ion के साथ साथ उसमें बहुत सारे और चीज़ें ऐसी होती हैं. If you do it by yourself it is very hazardous. ठीक है तो वो हम खुद से वो चीज़ नहीं कर पाएंगे. So there is a proper machinery for it, there is a proper environment for it because to extract those things. Understood? Maybe in the coming classes I'll share the proper documentation and everything regarding this. Yeah. Sorry. आनंद आप आनंद आप बहुत देर से प्लीज स्पीक अप बेटा. आपने हैंड रेज कर रखा है. अच्छा ठीक है नो इशू.
वन मोर क्वेश्चन है.
हाँ जी.
जो आपने बोला द लेवल 3 फास्ट चार्जिंग 480 वोल्ट ये इनपुट 480 वोल्ट है मतलब व्हाट इज दैट 480 बिकॉज़ जनरली 3 फेज लाइन इज 415 वोल्ट इन इंडिया.
जी बिल्कुल आपकी सही बात है. 480 वोल्ट जैसे ही हो गया आपका जो आपका चार्जर से आउटपुट आना है एक तरीके से. अंडरस्टूड? whatever
जो चार्जर से आउटपुट आएगा दैट विल बी 200 to 1000 वोल्ट राइट. दैट वो तो फास्ट बस बनेगा ना मतलब दैट इज डिपेंड ऑन द बैटरी वोल्टेज.
कितना बोला आपने?
वो तो पूरा रेंज रहेगा ना 200 to 1000 वोल्ट डिपेंडिंग ऑन व्हाट टाइप ऑफ बैटरी इट इज. बट व्हाट इज दिस 480 वोल्ट द एग्जैक्ट थिंग?
जी देखिए कैसे मैं आपको एग्जांपल से फॉर एग्जांपल हमारे घर पे 220 वोल्ट आती है.
यस मैम.
आपके फोन चार्जर को आपका फोन कितनी वोल्ट पे चार्ज होता है पता है?
मैम वो तो उस पर डिपेंड करता है. इफ इट इज सी टाइप देन सी USB-C का प्रोटोकॉल 5 वोल्ट 9 वोल्ट 12 वोल्ट 15 दैट डिपेंड्स ऑन द डिफरेंट चार्जिंग
let us suppose 15 volts. 1
Correct.
ठीक है,
करेक्ट।
आप तो 240 ले रहे हो,
हाँ,
आप
तो
आउटपुट
कन्वर्ट कर
15
दिया
ले रहे
फिर
हो,
240 थे, यस।
आउटपुट तो 15 आ रहा है ना।
हाँ राइट, सो दैट इज 240 वोल्ट इनपुट देन, 230 वोल्ट इनपुट जो भी है, यस।
हाँ जी, तो आपने तो इनपुट सिंपल दिया, आउटपुट आपको 15 वोल्ट देगा। सेम केस व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट दी डीसी फास्ट चार्जर्स, ठीक है, जो मेरा चार्जर से आउटपुट आ रहा है डायरेक्टली दैट वी आर चार्जिंग माय बैटरी इज 480 वोल्ट। नो डाउट देयर इज समथिंग कम्युनिकेशन, देयर आर सम सिग्नल्स, देयर इज a full power electronic circuitry in between. That's why I said in the coming classes I'll go with the deep of it, that is properly known as the layout of the chargers. वो चीज़ अभी मैं आपको समझा नहीं पाऊँगी because I don't have the proper, I will say the block diagram of it. But what I can say is only one thing, the output that you are getting from the charger is 3 volt. Understood?
You mean to say the battery voltage is 480 volts, the nominal battery voltage?
I am not saying that the battery voltage is 480 volts. I am saying the charger output is 480 volts. That's what I said. There is a large power electronic circuit still present in between the charger and the battery. That is known as the BMS, battery management system. जरूरी नहीं हमेशा आपको 480 मिले. Might be there is a surge, might be there is a sag. How we are going to protect your battery? Understood? नहीं समझ आया?
Okay.
हाँ, तो हर चीज को मैनेज करने के लिए there is always a controller. तो बैटरी जिस, since it is the most important part of our EVs, there is a battery management system, BMS. In the coming classes, I'll go in deep with that, in detail with that, with the proper diagram and the writing part and everything. Yes, I hope that will clear much of your doubt. But I don't have at present something, to show you for that. Yeah. Please. Thank you, Siddharth, for asking so many questions. I really like the conversation when students ask me questions.
Yeah, ma'am, it's very interesting also.
Because EVs is a very, I would say, an interesting topic. Whether it could be about charging, whether it could be your charging levels, your chargers, your BMS, your battery controllers, your batteries, your charging station, the most important that you on the seminar we are conducting. It is such an interesting, I would say, topic to understand. The types of the batteries, the battery compositions, आजकल at present कौन सी batteries ज़्यादा यूज हो रही है, why Tesla is so much costly, why Tesla is so much popular, why if you are that much EV enthusiastic, or if you see the news regularly, you would have seen that many of the fire accidents are happening in the EV scooters, in EV two-wheelers. Why? Why it is happening?
One query. One query. In India, last 6 months, Tata have sold most number of four-wheelers. Any particular reason about that? Without a charging infrastructure, people are buying the vehicle. Any particular reason?
So first of all, I would say the Tata, I would say it's a trust brand जो है टाटा का. दूसरा सर, अगर आप दूसरी जो मार्केट में EVs हैं, सर अगर हम इंडिया की मार्केट का सिनेरियो देखें तो मेजॉरिटी ऑफ अस आर दी मिडिल क्लास पर्सन्स. सर हाई रेंज जो हाई सोसाइटी है वो बहुत कम है. जो मिडिल क्लास सोसाइटी है, दी वर्किंग सोसाइटी ऑफ अस आर दी मेजॉरिटी वर्क्स मैन्युफैक्चरर्स में. और उसमें क्या है ना सर, जो टाटा है एट प्रेजेंट, आपने बहुत अच्छा क्वेश्चन किया सर, जो टाटा है एट प्रेजेंट, एक तो सर एज कम्पेयर टू दी प्राइसेस ऑफ दी अदर EVs, they are very much as incomparable to the petrol and the diesel cars. Second सर, जो रेंज टाटा दे रही है, फॉर एग्जाम्पल जिसको सर सिर्फ 40 किलोमीटर या 50 किलोमीटर की रेंज में टू एंड फ्रो करना है, ऑफिस से घर का, घर से ऑफिस का, तो सर उसके लिए अगर पेट्रोल और डीजल के प्राइसेस देखे जाएँ तो उसको बहुत बेनिफिशियल है. सर उसको 40 से 50 किलोमीटर आने जाने का पूरा आगे देख लीजिए कितने रुपये खर्च होंगे, 200 रुपये लगा के चलिए ऑन एन एवरेज, मोटा मोटा हिसाब ऑन एन एवरेज रोजाना के 200 या 300 रुपये खर्च होते होंगे आने जाने पेट्रोल में या डीजल में, डिपेंडिंग ऑन इट। सीएनजी है तो वो भी आजकल बराबर ही चल रही है, ज़्यादा अंतर रहा नहीं सीएनजी में भी आजकल तो है ये है। लेकिन सर अगर आप एक क्या कहते हैं ईवी की बात करते हैं तो सर ऑन एन एवरेज आपको मुश्किल से भी 75 से 100 75 to 100 रुपीज़ पड़ता है आना जाना, ये है। और अभी तो सर जहाँ पे भी जितने भी पब्लिक चार्जिंग स्टेशन हैं आपके या ऑफिस में हैं वो सब अभी तो है फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट है, तो आपको तो और भी सस्ता पड़ रहा है अभी। तो मैं भी ये कहूँगी सर अभी तो ईवी सर तो मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट एक्सेप्टेंस है पब्लिक के लिए सर, वो है कि प्राइस जो आपको पेट्रोल में देना पड़ रहा है वो 230 रुपये देना पड़ रहा है, और जो आपको एक ईवी में देना पड़ रहा है वो सिर्फ 75 to 100 रुपीज़ देना पड़ता है। मतलब 3 दिन के पैसे आपने जो एक बारी में खर्च होने थे आपके 30 रुपये वो आपने 3 दिन में आप खर्च करोगे, डेफिनेटली आपकी प्रॉफिट सेव होगी। ये है वन ऑफ द रीजंस टाटा। आई होप आई हैव गिवन यू द आंसर। Yes. Money, please. So, I have cleared majority of the doubts. दूसरा सर अभी एकदम मेरे दिमाग में आया है, सर the Indian government is giving a lot of the incentives or I would say the subsidies if you buy the EV four-wheelers, so near about 1 से 1.5 lakh रुपए, means 1 to 1.5 lakh rupees subsidies you are getting for if you buy at present EVs. India government is giving that much subsidies to this. एक ये है। तीसरा सर मैंने आपको ये बोला था कि सर ट्रस्ट एक जो होता है ये सर मैंने एक तो जगह और ये भी पढ़ा है टाटा हैज एंटर्ड इनटू द फील्ड ऑफ बैटरी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग, सो इन द कमिंग टाइम maybe it is going to help a lot for those who are taking the Tata cars in the coming times. If you are, let us suppose, I'm just giving a good. I don't know if this is going to happen or not. I just asked me the question. Let us suppose you are having a Tata car. You bought it in the last 6 months, and in the coming near about 7 to 8 years, your battery is going to get degraded. So definitely you are going to replace that battery. है ना? So if the data is already there in the manufacturing field of the batteries, might be possible again you get some subsidies or some I would say profit on the exchanging those batteries. Understood? So this is also one of the reasons. But it is in the coming future. We are about 5 to 6 years. Still, we have to wait. At least till 2030. At least. That's what Indian government is saying.
Ma'am, I have one question.
Yes,
Actually, this presently the EV car what India is having, they are all based on 48 volt, right? The low voltage. But I think the future will be for the high voltage.
sorry, please go again. I didn't understand what you want to ask.
I'm saying the cars what Tata or the Mahindra are making, they are all on the low voltage, right? Presently, low voltage is 48 or 72 something. But I think the future maybe they will go for the high voltage battery. Then I think the efficiency will be much more.
Yes, and see, that's what I said. If you see the battery profile 5 years before, and if you see the battery profile right now, they have improved a lot, isn't it? जो पहले की बैटरी एनर्जी कैपेसिटी की जो रेंज थी और जो आज की बैटरी कैपेसिटी है, एनर्जी कैपेसिटी है, जो रेंज है और जो प्राइसेस है वो बहुत कम है और मतलब प्राइस के मामले में और रेंज के मामले में काफ़ी ज़्यादा है. तो डेफिनेटली इन द कमिंग फ्यूचर दिस इज ऑल्सो गोइंग टू बी. Sandeep, I think so. John, you wrote something. I couldn't understand what you have wrote. Hey, ma'am, is that EV is environment friendly as of now? Yes, of course. I would say, Roshan, that EV is environment friendly. Since the first point of our conversation was that only, that ma'am, it doesn't create any pollution. So definitely, I would say 100%, but definitely majority of the person is EV friendly. Thank you, Anand, and the voice clarification persisted. Otherwise, okay, I didn't got any of you to say me. My voice is breaking. Otherwise, I could have done something. I hope next time it will be an issue. Andre, I think so. Naveen and the team will take on this question regarding the certificate and all, and for the technical sessions. Okay. Yes. So I hope we should end this session. I have cleared majority of the doubts. I hope. Naveen, are you there? Anyone from the team?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Sophie, for this wonderful session. The depth and understanding of the topic that you have suggested and delivered to our audience was as per the expectation of the audience. I hope so, because whatever the queries and questions they have raised during this session, that confidence that this session was very helpful for them as well. In the aspect, as you have told about electric vehicle market, the range of electric vehicles, working of charging stations, other technical details, and various levels and solar power charging stations. Apart from it, you have also covered the topic on swapping charging stations. So I hope topics and the knowledge delivered by Ms. Sophie have been marked as per the expectation from the audience. So thank you very much all of you for joining with us today, and a special thank you for Ms. Sophie for giving such a wonderful session to our audience. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
Hello? Hello, Ma'am Sarah. Sila po dito pa din.
Positive